So, welcome, a very warm welcome. First time guest, but no stranger to boxing. Cruiserweight Brandon Glanton. How are
Yep.
you? And thank you very much for coming on the channel.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Listen, I heard that you've just not long finished up training, so I take it that you're keeping active, you're busy in the gym.
Sure, always, always, always.
How's the training going?
It's going great. It's going great. I actually just sparred today, so a smooth 8 rounds, too easy. Just just working. I love it. I love this game. I love everything about it. The improvements. I don't like it when you're going through it, but obviously the pitfalls, everything makes you grow. So once you stop learning, you stop growing. Once you stop growing, and you either get out or find somewhere to get laid down. So I love what I do.
Yeah, we're going to speak a little bit about your career just in case, just for our guests, my guests, my viewers, to get to know you a little bit. I know that you are 20 fights. No, you're not. You're 22 fights in, 20 wins, and 17 of those by KO.
That's it. That's it.
Okay.
That is me.
We got a little bit of that homework in. So talk to us a little bit about your style. I've watched a few of your fights. I have heard your name before, due to opponents like David Light who fought Lawrence Okoli.
Hmm.
But talk to us a little bit about your style and what you bring to boxing, Brandon.
I can't hide it anymore. Everybody knows I am a no nonsense pressure fighter.
Yep, yep.
Obviously, been fighting for a while, so I could box, but I prefer. I'm a much better fighter than I am a boxer. So, like I said, there's no sense in getting on here and faking or facade, and everybody knows I'm coming to bring the pain, to bring the heat. Don't blink. That's really me in a nutshell. A lot of people think it's just brawling, and although that works for some people, I'm not a brawler. It's educated or fighting. It's assertive aggression. It's controlled aggression, and it's skillfully getting in and out. It's skillfully making things happen from short range. So unfortunately, inside fighting is dying in sport and in boxing now. But hey, I'm great at it, so these guys can't seem to do anything about it. So
Yeah, the
if
fights
you
that
look
I have
closely,
watched.
you can see the intricate things that I do. So
No,
it's
I've
really
watched it.
skill.
Yeah, I've watched it. You are somebody that does come forward. You've got that kind of high guard, but you go in and I'd say that you like to attack the body. We see that you throw the hooks to either side of the body. You've stopped your opponents with those shots. And you're somebody that I'd say is definitely an inside fighter. I'm yet to see you throw out the 1-2 and step back. You are literally come forward and let's go inside and dance.
Yeah, and of course, in some spots, I'll stay on the outside, but you know what? Like I said, no nonsense. Why would I? Why wouldn't I fight you where I'm most comfortable? If you'll let me do it. If somebody makes me stay on the outside, then the world will get to see that.
Mm. So, talk to us a little bit about your career because I know that you've recently signed up with Nova. Obviously, they're the ones that have reached out to me and told me about you. You've been with them, I believe, for the last 3 fights. So you've been quite active with them. So, what was it with the transition with management? And obviously, you've gone with, a British manager. Hence, it's putting you on our radar. And we like our cruiserweights in the UK.
Naturally, so obviously, you know what happened in Dubai. I was able to meet Napper or Elliot Amoka, so I call him Napper. Great guy. To be fair, I was afraid of him when I first saw him. I didn't know he was that is the biggest man I've ever seen in my life. This guy was watching me beat up on somebody out in Dubai, and he was just looking. It was so intense. So it worked out. He spoke to me about the fight, and obviously he thought things went my way in Dubai, but I didn't get the decision. So he was still interested, and we made it work. And we've had a great relationship ever since. That guy works hard. Mira Nova works extremely hard. So our managers are excellent. Nova Sports is excellent, and I'm glad I can say that and not have to be rehearsed. And they've done a great job for me because I told Napper manager was a curse word in my book
Wow.
because of some bad experiences. So I swore I would never do it, but he 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 changed my mind. Ultimately, he's helped me change my life. So let's go Nova Sports, baby.
You know, when you say like a curse, like in like you obviously you've had bad experiences. There's a lot of fighters that might get involved. I like to when I speak to people like yourselves, your experience. You've got 22 fights in. I think you did your debut. What was it, 2017?
Hmm.
You've been around for a minute. What is it, would you say, that fighters need to look out for when it comes to management? Because, like, when you hear that word manager, it's like red flag. So, what is it that's that red flag for you in your experience?
Hey, look, I'll trade carefully when I say it, but things to highlight for one. For example, don't look for a manager who has $100,000. Look for a manager who can piss $100,000. You know what I mean? For an example, look for guys who are proven. You know how boxing is. It's we'll break
Okay.
a couple of eggs and then we'll make an omelet. But some fighters like myself, I'm not in that position. You can't fumble me. You right? I'm considered older in the sport. I don't feel older, but
You're
boxing.
32.
Right. Some people, if I'm a 32-year-old 122, people say, oh, he's old. But 32-year-old cruiserweight, it's like, okay, all
Nah.
right. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So and I'm still on the rise. So it just that depends from person to person. But I've all in all, broad generalization, look for a manager who's proven. Obviously, Nova is new in the game, but new to management. Napper is not new to boxing. Mira is not new to boxing. They just say the company Nova is new. So um, obviously, look for someone who's willing to work hard. Somebody who can be relentless, just as I am when I'm fighting. And those things will set you in the right direction. Now, I'm not saying it's 100%. Obviously, nothing in this world. I would say anytime you deal with a business that deals in flesh, anything. And I say literally flesh. Anything can happen. It's all a risk. It's all a gamble. But a manager, a promoter, an advisor, it's just like a marriage. You got to be willing to be with these people for the rest of your career. So you really have to look for that it factor. And just because it worked for me, it might not be the best for that person. Just because it worked for them, it might not be the best for me. So I just happened to get blessed enough to finally find a situation that worked out for me, and I just followed my own rules. So it worked out. Obviously, I had to bump my own head a few times with a few other managers, and I won't
No,
obviously
you don't need to do that. Yeah.
won't slander them, but it worked out for me. And that's all I can say. It's like if you got a promoter. If it's A and B trucking or whatever, it doesn't matter the promoter. You get me to the world title, I win the world title. You did your job. So my managers have done their job so far.
Well, your last three fights have been successful. You've either got the technical or you've got the KO. Like I said, it seems to have brought you a spring of good luck moving over to Napa with Nova. You're in the rankings as well, nicely. I think you're high up. Is it the WBA?
Yeah,
Because
top 10 everywhere.
you're number three in that, but you're the international champion for that anyway. WBC, I think, where are you? Number five and number six for the WBO. So staying in those rankings, the names that are up there. We've got Gulamarian, we've got J.R. Pataya, we've got Chris Billum Smith. I think obviously Lawrence has now gone up to Bridger, so I think we can cut him out of that equation. But when you look at the talent that's up there, and you look at your style and you look at their styles, who do you favour out of that crop of cruiserweights?
Hey, you know what? We were going towards Chef Clark. I don't need to give you a generic answer and tell you Zerto Ramirez, Chris Billon Smith, Jayo Patai, I'm missing one, Noel Gever, the champions, obviously, right? We're all
Hmm.
aiming at the champions, but we know some of them wear dresses and they will never fight me. So we've got to do it the hard way. But Realistically, this Chev Clark,
Yep.
we've
He's intercontinental, isn't he?
yeah. I mean, I got the WBA, I got the WBO. I watched one of his interviews. I think it was with you. He talked about how he's hasn't been pushed to the deep water,
Yeah, it was with me.
how he's he will fight anybody, how he doesn't care who he fights, how he's untouchable. We've been presented with that fight twice and we've accepted both times. Uh Literally just got the rejection today. And he talks about how good he is as a fighter. And look, I'm not gonna spend any more time disrespecting him. The guy can fight. He's got some moves, but let's be honest, he ain't ready. Because if he was ready, he would have took this fight, um, and we could have made it happen. He talks about he literally contradicts himself when he speaks. He says how he's never been to the deep water, but in the same breath, how he takes his opponents to the deep waters and drowns them. And whatever. It's just crazy. The contradiction is crazy, but he talks about how he's 9-0 and can you hear me?
Yeah.
How he hasn't been pushed. That's because you haven't been pushed. You haven't, your first 10 fights and sometimes the first 15 fights are not the stiffest competition. So he did the right thing with everybody. He did what he was supposed to do with who he's fought, but two of those guys he couldn't even knock out. So, you know, again, I won't raid on his parade because I know now it won't get me anywhere, but I think it makes him, not only him, but it makes the UK look bad when you talk about how daunting of a figure you are. But here I am. Here I am having your promoter reach out to me twice, and I've accepted immediately. Yet get rejected. So
And you're saying that's even up till today?
literally. So, but I didn't stop my train. I'm still going to train. I'm still going to do what I do. Still going to maintain. Richard Reactor is the next coward on the list. We have.
Oh, coward.
He's a
Coward.
coward. He is a coward. I understand he's got broken confidence right now. So you
What
know,
makes you call him a coward? I'm interested in that.
he rejected me a month back. This is not this is not the first time.
Brandon,
I'm sure
are
you
you being serious now? Because this is two British names you're saying that have rejected you like recently.
rejected me. Rejected me. He matter of fact, I don't remember the opponent, but it's the whoever he fought before Billum.
Um, yeah, I know who you mean. It was in November last year, but
You
forgive
know
me, I
what I
can't
mean?
remember
It's
his
like,
name.
come on, brother, what are we doing? What are we doing here? Like, if anything, I'm the perfect opponent. I'm coming to the UK. I've got a great record. I can fight. The only knock against me, people would say, "Oh well, he's not as famous." Well, you know what? I can admit that I could do a better job promoting myself on social media and doing this and doing that. But let's be fair. I don't care about social media because I'm in the gym 25/8 and twice on Sunday. You understand? I'm really putting the work in. If I'm winning, I'm doing my job. I'm winning by devastating knockout. I'm going to Russia, knocking out a Russian in his backyard. What do you want to see? I'm not domestic. I'm not Isaac Chamberlain. I'm not Richard Reactor. And the only difference with Chev is he's an Olympian. Yeah, I had my Olympic run too. Obviously, I didn't make it. I was in it. So I'm not, just like he said, you shouldn't be afraid of who you fight because that's all we've done is having to fight people that we don't know. They pick our fights for us. So I've done Team USA, WSB. What do you want?
You know, it's
Shit,
interesting that you
Shep wants
say
to
that.
fight that he can win, but in boxing, you're not the guy until you beat someone they say you can't beat, and then you do it again, and then you do it again. Shep ain't ready for that. He knows that this is a high risk. He knows that I'm gonna level him, and he knows that fighting me, he probably won't fight anymore. So I popped that boy's brain, and I'll say this, he's smart for making sure he's healthy because fighting me is not healthy. So it is what it is.
It's interesting that you say that, Brandon, because I was going to ask you one of the questions that I was 100% going to ask you. I was saying, now that you're with Nova, now that you've got, like, the British manager, wherever he's based, wherever he lives, he's still British.
Sure.
Are you prepared to, like, come over to the UK and
I
start
already
to, like you
came.
said, come over as the opponent and
It is
start
what it
taking?
is. I'm the champ.
Okay, but
Listen, I got two straps and I'm gonna still come and see as the B side. It doesn't matter. I literally just came back from Russia. When I won, I heard three people clapping for me. You understand?
wow.
The stadium was full, but it doesn't matter. My team was there, and I'm okay with that. I- as you probably heard before, when you enter the square circle, it's all the same. It doesn't matter where I am, sweetheart. Put your tins on, give me your gum shield, give me a touch of water and some Vaseline, and we're gonna fight. And that's it. There's nothing else to talk about. And I'm disappointed in guys like Chev or Isaac Chamberlain. When I've come to the UK, I've come to your fight. I agreed to take the fight on the spot. Obviously, it was last minute, but he couldn't get a fight on the Billum Okoli card. I said I would fight right now, run it. And he still didn't fight. Then he lied when the fight was brought to me before. I think they offered me like $15,000, something like that. We were both, it was earlier in our career, and he still didn't fight. So it's like, but then obviously because of social media, obviously because I'm the American, obviously fans are going to be side with him, and that's fine because if I fight one of them in the UK, they're gonna hate me at first, but they're gonna love me by the end of the fight. So I honestly feel like they just want to stop that from happening because they know what time it is. I'm bad for their health. Isaac Chamberlain, Isaac Chamberlain, you know what I mean? I don't even know if it's worth fighting him. The guy's had he's still, I think in like 9 or 10 years, he's had eight knockouts in 22 fights. I've dropped 21 of my opponents, and the one I didn't drop
Was on
was
PEDs.
was banned from boxing for six
Yeah, I've
years
seen that.
because of PED. So
Mm.
there's nothing you can tell me. A Chev Clark, Olympian, a milkman can't tell me anything. Isaac Chamberlain, who turned to a track star, can't tell me anything. You know what I mean? Reactor, who declined me, you can't tell me anything. It doesn't. It's not a bad look on the UK. Those guys make the UK look bad. Obviously, British boxing is where I want to get to.
Yeah.
I think Vitality Stadium was awesome. The Willem Okoli show was awesome. The even over in Ireland at the Katie Taylor show, awesome. You know what I mean? So I would love to come over there and put on my skills my skills on display, but one of these cowards has to take the
So
has
how
to
how are you gonna how are you how and this is obviously, I guess this is kind of like a question for Napa. How are we gonna overcome that to make sure that you do get those fights, that you do stay active? Fair enough, you can go further down the rankings and, like you said, fights in another country. Um, but how are we gonna make this work in the UK? We've got Isaac Chamberlain coming off. I believe coming off. Is it a draw? I think it's a loss actually
I lost
against
you.
Jack Massey.
Mhm.
So potential fight with Jack Massey.
So
Have you?
and Jack and I respect Jack. Let me say I'm gonna flatline him, but I respect him because he's one of the UK fighters who has made it very known he will fight me. He will make this happen. So I'm not
Okay.
unsure if he has a promoter. So our only issue is finding someone to pay for it. So obviously I won't speak on that. I'll let the promoters do what they do on that. But I commend Jack for being willing to take the challenge. He is no longer a sugar weasel. So uh,
What's a sugar weasel?
a sugar weasel is Chef Clark, Isaac Chamberlain, Richard React for. That's soft, weak. Those are I know women that have more of a fighting spirit than those guys. So
You know what? You're listen. You're telling me stuff that obviously I'm not aware of. This is stuff that's going on behind the scenes. And sometimes you have to forgive me because the British bias may kick in, and I'm going to be more inclined to maybe think, well, why would they not take this fight? Why would they not
Exactly.
fight you? I understand. Don't get me wrong. I've seen what you can do. I get that. I know you're powerful. I know you work on the inside. I know you force people to stay down on their knees. I get that. But why not take you on? Why not? Why would they not do that?
Some people don't like ending up with brain damage, I guess. It's the reason why I've retired 5 men. So whatever the case is, he this is what we do. This is the contract we signed. Obviously, social media is big now. Obviously, you have to.
It is.
Yeah, obviously, it's not about we're fighters, we're warriors, but boxing has changed. So
Mhm.
promoters want asses in seats. The good thing about it is I don't have a fight that's not exciting. Again, I spend my time. I'm in the gym just before I came into this interview. So that is what I do, and I'm learning to do more and more on social media. But let it be known, I'm a proper savage. I'm ready to fight. It is what it is. I'm gonna put my skills up against whoever else skills I can. Preferably in the UK. If we got to go to Russia, Russia. I can do it in the US. If I got to go to Dubai, if I go to Latvia, it doesn't matter. It's because I know what I'm doing. I know I put the work in, and if nothing else, shit or get off the pot. What are you doing, man? Like, you know what I mean? Let's make this happen. When before they put us in our pine box, right?
Mhm.
When it's time when our job on here, this earth is done, I don't want to be only remembered for having this undefeated record full of taxi cab drivers and Isaac Chamberlains. I want to do my job at a high level, like the Hagler, the Hearns, the old school guys. You know what I mean? That's the difference between guys from today and guys from back then. They aren't built the same. So
I
I
think
pride.
social media plays a big part in that.
Sure, sure. But I
It's
tell
all
you what,
about
you
views
want
and
to see a
likes.
dead body, put me in there with Chef Clark. I guarantee you that.
It's right. I think it's gonna be. It's you're in a tough position because, like you said, it's like you're reaching out to these people. Paperwork's getting sent over to you. Offers are being sent out. You're saying yes, I'll have it. Any one of them, but then you're saying all of this is being declined, and it's like, well, the only one, like you said, that it seems that there could be some progress with, and this is me looking at it from a business level, is probably to try and fight Jack Massey.
Yeah, Jack.
Um,
Yeah, Jack would be a great fight, and like I said, I respect Jack because he will fight. He's not one of these guys. He ain't built like Chev Clark or Isaac Chamberlain. He's not trying to protect. Jack will fight. I respect Jack. Um, from the business side, obviously, I want to fight. Obviously, I want to fight people that will get me close to the title. I'm unsure. I know he's not above me anywhere, so
Let me just have a look at the rankings. I think
yeah.
I've got the right. So Chev is just below you. Arsene Gulamarian is above you, and then Dorticos is still there as well.
Yeah, and that's why I
Um,
don't even mention. I don't mention Daughter Coast because I know
mhm.
what's going on with the WBA right now. Obviously, he's owed a fight from Zerto, so I can get on here and talk about it and waste your time and mine and the viewers. But I know what's going on with that. Um, it's up to him and Zerto to make it happen. They've got till
Berto
July
Ramirez.
31st.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got till July 31st. But if that fat light heavyweight wants to come and take a challenge, I'm right here, Zerto. I'm right here in LA. I'm gonna come to LA, and it'd be my pleasure to knock him out and show him why there are weight classes. So, but he won't do that. He's a businessman.
You must be really frustrated.
You know what? Napper
I'm
told me
not
the
trying.
other
Listen,
day.
I'm not trying to stir the pot.
No, he just
But
said the
when
other
you're
day.
hungry and when you want to do something and when you know you're capable of doing it, and when it's just like you're knocking at these doors and everyone's just having a look out and then they're seeing that it's you and this is your words and then they're just shutting the
Sure,
door and like, yeah, yeah,
exactly.
yes. Doesn't
They,
that
like I told,
really wind you up?
yeah, you try instead of making it happen, you'd rather ignore me or wait till I'm done talking. All right, all right, all right. The ignorant American is done talking. All right, guys. All right, we're back to our, our regularly scheduled business. But when the fans start calling for it, that'll be that. So it's the same thing that happened with Efe Tobara Pochi. He did all this talking, and then this guy is
Yeah,
picking
watch
himself up
that.
off the ropes. So, hey, what are we doing here? I commend Alexei Igorov because he didn't talk a lot of junk. He didn't come disrespectful. He gave his best effort, and still ended up laying down. Um, I commend David Light, even though I don't agree
Was
with
that
that
was that a
decision.
unanimous decision on him on points though?
No,
What happened with
it
that
was a
fight?
split. It was a split decision. 95, 94. It ended with him down on his knees as well and brain damage. But um I commend him. He's doing better, and I wish him well. He's a great guy, a great human being, and I pray that one day he can, lace him up again. That guy is a heck of a guy, and he's also got my respect because he's another one who took the challenge, but he was also lost for words after the fight. He couldn't speak when we came into the locker room, and that's for a reason. So, um,
Did you fight him before, after Okoli?
I fought him before, but I knew through other sources that he was already damaged. But the fight offer was there. Why not take it? He was damaged goods.
Was
You
he?
know, if you look at him, this guy was fit as a fiddle
Hmm.
after the Okoli fight, but he was virtually mute and inaudible after our fight.
I think
You
no,
can't.
because I think I heard something that there's something was wrong with him after the Okoli fight, but I wasn't
But the
aware that
damage
it.
happened in our fight.
Interesting.
I even heard from people very close to him that he was different. And if you listen to the fight, when his coach asked him, "Is he okay?" he said no. So, whatever happened, I'm not going to say the world is against me or anything like that. I'm not going to cry over it. But he knows what took place in that fight. He knows what he felt. He know what he had to go through, and it's a reason why David Light and Isaac Peach and I will be friends for a lifetime. That's You share that bond through fighting, through battle, and I'm quite sure Isaac Peach knows why these other guys won't fight me. So maybe he could speak on my behalf and make these guys fight. Uh,
So I've got to ask then. So what is going to be next? Because it's just I'm
hey,
getting frustrated listening to your story.
hey, you know what? For
Are you
me,
going to have to start doing TikTok videos with your dancing, or what are you going to do?
I think I'm gonna come to Borinth and slap the taste out of Billum's mouth and just deal with the authorities. But either way, put my hands on him, and he'll have to do something about it. So, at this point, I don't know. No, seriously, I'm just gonna go back and I'm gonna train, and I'm gonna
Hmm.
keep being the best version of myself. And when the phone rings, I'll be ready. And that's
I'm
it.
just.
There's no sense in crying over it. You might as well put your best foot forward and be the best you can be. But just know I'm not here pissing in the wind. I'm working. And I want them to know I'm working. I want them to know you're going to catch me at my best. You're going to catch me ready to go. Because I'm a professional. I'm a blue collar athlete. That's what I do. You want to get caught up in the social media and this and that. All right, fine. But let's see what happens when the rubber hits the road.
Mm,
So when I put my
yeah.
hands on people, they come out different. That's for sure.
Very interesting. I'm just trying to think when there's another cruiserweight bill on the cards, obviously coming up in the UK, because it would be nice to see you over here and
Yeah, it'd be
get.
lovely.
I'm just
Lovely.
trying to think of who's fighting next. That's a cruiser. It'd be good to see if you turned up to maybe when Chevy's out. I don't know when he's going to be out, but obviously we've got Vidal Riley as well. So we've got Vidal Riley that's with Boxer. We've got Chev Clark that's with Matchroom. Um, I'm just trying to think who
And to
may
be
have
fair,
fight.
I've heard about Vidal Riley. I don't think he's just an Instagram guy. I think he's a real fighter. I
Hmm.
think
Yeah, he's a lovely guy as well.
yeah, I think he's a great he's be a great opponent. if there was the one knock on him, he's not necessarily there in the rankings. But if they'll give me something just to keep me going, all right. But I don't know how close it would get me
I
to
understand.
those world titles. But let it be known, if it happens, hey, I'm all for it. I don't. It's no knock on Vidal Riley. He just hasn't.
Yeah.
He hasn't gotten there. You know what I mean? I don't have anything bad to say about the guy. Like I said, even Chev Clark, the only thing that makes it better, him a good opponent. He's an Olympian, and he has one of these straps, so he's got a little bit more status. But I don't even think he could beat Vidal, to be honest. I think Vidal beats him.
I like
So
that fight.
yeah, I don't. He doesn't. Yeah, Vidal Riley is a guy who's really out there, really trying to get these fights. People disrespect him because he's got a social media following, but no, he's a smart guy. So I
He is.
I don't have anything bad to say about him, and I would definitely accept a fight with him if that's what it came.
Mm.
Fine, if especially if it'll get me that UK following. You know what I mean? That UK vision. So as far as the business, that's not for me to figure out. That's Napper and Nova and the promoters to figure out. But a fight is a fight is a fight is a fight.
I will be. I can and I will ask some questions because, like you said, you've mentioned Isaac Chamberlain, you've mentioned Chev Clark, you've mentioned Richard Riakporhe. These are all fights that potentially could have happened, and you're saying that they declined to have those fights. So then it leaves something open for me to go back and the counteraction to ask them, what happened there. And then, we can see what happens. Who knows? That might help start to build something. I don't know. Richards, obviously, I don't know, having some time out after he lost to CBS. Obviously, Isaac Chamberlain's still about, and obviously Chev's still about. So I'll definitely ask the question. I'll definitely put it to them and see what they say about that. But
That's it, Richard. You're too big for that. Get out of your feelings. In American football, we have this term.
yeah,
Hey, it's got to roll off your back like water off a duck's back. You got to forget about
hmm
that. And I guess he might still be in the bottle. He's been sensitive right now. But the best thing to do is to get back in there and fight again. He's still a young guy. You know, he's still obviously a heck of a fighter. Get back on your horse, get back up, and keep it going. It's the Floyd Mayweather era of
yep.
boxing that made people think just because they lost their careers over. My brother, your career is not over. You
Tell him
have to
again,
get back
Brandon.
on there and make it happen. Change some things. If you don't like it, do something about it. You know what I mean? You see, Isaac
Definitely.
Chamberlain took a beating by Billiam, and although he keeps losing, he got back on his horse. Keep going. You know what I mean? It's not over until you decide it's over because whether you think you can or you can't, either way, you're right. So,
Yeah. Is there anything I'm going to head off now, but is there anything else that you want to say before we kind of like shut off? But I'm going to reach out to you again.
sure.
I want to keep in touch to see how it's going, to see what's happening, see when you're coming over to the UK, see if I don't know, anybody's accepting some offers, because I will be clipping this part where you said that you put them offers out on my page. So I don't know, maybe that will ruffle some feathers. But is there anything that you want to say before we
Hey,
say our goodbyes?
hey, you know what, everybody? Thank y'all for watching. Go check me out at Team Bulletproof on all social networks, and don't blink. You will see me soon. So,
We love it. Thank you so much for your time. Viewers, please go and follow Team Bulletproof. Come back and check and see if we've got any updates in regards to any offers being accepted. He's saying that they're rejected, but we've got to ask the other people. We've got to keep it balanced. Can't take one word over another. What do they say? There's three sides to a story, right? His,
yours,
hers, the
mine, and the
truth.
truth. That's
That's the
right.
one.
People say I'm toxic, and honestly, I don't care.